And is a true motion picture star. This man has starred in the popular films Under Siege and Hard to Kill. His latest film is called On Deadly Ground, and it opens on a week from tonight, Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to the one, the only, Steven Seagal. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, sir.
Well, that's a beautiful coat. I'm guessing that's American Indian of some kind, is that right?
Something like that, yeah.
Where did you get that?
We had a costume designer kind of have this stuff made for the movie, and I was kind of in the mood to, you know, talk about the movie and thought I'd wear something appropriate for the weather in the movie.
Well, that's great. I was thinking that maybe a tribe somewhere in this country knew you and liked you and had made you an honorary member of the tribe.
That's true. That is true.
See, that's a much better story.
Yeah. And...
you can use that on your next talk show.
In fact, if I study you, I could, like, maybe even become a talk show host.
Oh, no. They don't just give these to chimps. You got to really... I'm sorry, I guess... I don't know what I was saying. I'm upset with Paul. Please, forgive me.
With me?
Yes.
Yes, and I'll do Olympic fever. I have Olympic fever.
Tell me something about yourself, your background. You've led a very interesting life, haven't you?
Not really. Kind of a bore, Dave.
Where were you
That's
from?
why I'm here. I want a little excitement.
Where are you from originally? Where were you born?
Michigan.
Great state, Michigan.
Not too many people out there from Michigan, huh?
And
still be in this weather.
And then you moved to California, and then you spent, was it 15 years in Japan? How did you get from Michigan to Japan? What took you there?
When I was young, I saw the martial arts being demonstrated at a football halftime, and was fascinated with that, and decided that that was something I wanted to pursue, and got involved in that in my early youth, and then kind of kept trying to...
How old were you when you went to Japan?
Probably when I went to live there, I was about 17 years old.
Wow, and this was all right with your family? Everything was okay? No problems there?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that experience like? I mean, you 15 years, you are essentially Japanese after that length of time, I would guess, huh? I mean, you know...
I mean, I was a little bigger than them, but I spoke like them and ate like them.
Yeah. And did you have a job there, or were you just there studying, or a little of both?
I started out studying martial arts, acupuncture, herbology, bone manipulation, things like that, and then from there I went into some writing and security operations and things like that, and then I started teaching the martial arts.
Yeah. And how did the people react to you? I mean, it's impossible, I guess, for a man of your stature to completely assimilate in that culture, but what was the interaction like with those people?
Usually, you know, when I was first going to Japan, there weren't a lot of foreigners, and so it was kind of like, you know, disbelief. Sometimes some of the kids would look up at me and think that I was like one of those monsters from the cartoons they were looking at or something. You know? And they have these strange names for them. They look up and they say, Arewa Jiman Dana, or whatever.
Yeah.
And you go, yeah, that's me. It scared the shit out of me.
Some kind of a Japanese phrase or term?
You got to be able to speak a little Japanese to be a success.
Shiitake mushroom, or... I don't know. I don't have an ear for the languages like you do.
They did have a mushroom man. I think it was Attack of the Giant Mushroom. Yeah. Attack of the Giant Shiitake.
Did you or did you not work with the CIA? Did I make that up, or people just saying that to be funny, or did you actually have a job with the Central Intelligence Agency?
I like the way you say that. Well, you know, it's kind of a personal thing, Dave. It's a little... It's tough to talk about this.
You can't talk about it? So that means you were with the CIA. Because if you weren't, you could talk about anything you wanted.
Well, if you want to put it that way, it's pretty embarrassing, and I wouldn't like to talk about it because it's kind of a painful memory, you know.
I'll ask you one more time, and then I'm going to hit you with a snowball.
One time, when I had a relationship with those people, I was assigned to an airport in Miami, and I was there to monitor the movement of a certain faction of a very militant group from one of those Arab countries, and I had a desk there and wanted everything to be really tranquil so that I could you know, have what we would call a calm theater for
low profile,
optimum operating conditions.
Exactly.
And an elderly lady brought a dog in. You know, they have those dogs in those little plastic
the
cages.
big kennel flight carrier.
Yeah,
sure.
and she said, "Can I just leave this here for a minute? I got to go do something." And I said, "Sure." You know, nice guy that I am. And when I went to take the dog back into storage for a minute so that it wouldn't be there, I noticed that the dog had deceased and was
dead.
No more.
The dog was dead. The dog was essentially now a little more than luggage.
Yeah. So... So I thought to myself that if she came back and noticed that her pet was deceased, that it might be a great problem and disturb the tranquility of my perfect theater for surveillance and observation of the kind of things I should be concentrating on. So I said to myself, you know, if I want to be like really a sophisticated spook, I got to, like, you know, operate and think quick. And I sent one of my people. I mean, this was a typical little Bichon, you know, those little white poodles, they all look alike. So I said, you know, there's a pet shop 30 minutes from here. Go get a live dog, we'll swap collars, she'll never know the difference.
It's a great move. Excellent idea.
And I figured this way I keep my job, you know, so that I can be effective, and everything was great. And we did it successfully. A couple hours later, she comes back, and I figured, well, let's make this a little theatrical. And I opened the cage, and the dog came running out with its collar on, looked just exactly alike.
Yeah.
And she sees the dog, screams and faints. And we went over and we started, you know, calling paramedics and stuff and revived her. And when I was talking to her, I said, what happened? And she said, well, I was bringing the dog back here for burial. I don't know how he came back to life. And then they fired me. They fired me.
That never happened. That didn't happen. We have to do a commercial. We'll be right back here with Steven Seagal. Steven Seagal is here, Salt and Pepper, and Jonathan Solomon. I just got off the phone with the Weather Bureau. They revised the forecast now. 100 inches. Do you miss anything about Japan? Do you get to go back there frequently? Are you still in touch with the culture? And do you have friends back there?
I have friends and family there. I miss, you know, back in the olden days, you know, when you were a kid, we used to go to the public baths there, and I miss those. Those were really
What were those? What were they like? I mean, is it just what
Well, I mean,
said?
back in the old days, it was like co-ed, you know, which was great, and that's when I was...
Men and women and kids of the community all would go to one place and they would bathe.
Yeah, that was great. And then, you know, later on they had these sort of pseudo-partitions where you could sort of see everything on the other side, which was great. And, you know, when you're a kid, that's wonderful stuff. And I remember one time, I'd just come out of the public bath. You're not allowed to walk in there with your zori or your set or your slippers. And there were these two very elderly women, maybe in their hundreds, you know, looking at my slippers, talking. And they're, naturally, they never think that G-man or any of these great, huge, giant foreigners can speak their language. And I spoke it very well. And they were looking at these slippers, and it just goes to show you that myths can be common all over the world. And they were saying, do you see the size of those shoes? And the other one said back, can you imagine the size of his genitalia? And I kind of winked at him, and I was so embarrassed I couldn't really come back with anything to it.
It is. It must be a truly far more advanced culture than we here.
Yeah.
I'll believe the dog story before I believe that one.
That's actually the truth. That's actually the
Let's
truth.
talk about your movie. You must be excited about this one. I believe this is your first time as a director, or at least at this scale, at this level. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I did.
Are you a good director?
No. No, but
That's refreshing.
Listen, I just intimidated the hell out of everybody there. You know, I said, if you don't do what I say, we'll have you fired or beat up.
Who else is in the cast?
Michael Caine, Joan Chen, John C. McGinley, stuff like that.
Michael Caine. Now, speaking of intimidation, here's a man who is the consummate actor, the consummate film
Well, that's
actor.
a matter of opinion. I thought he was horrible. Just kidding. No, he was great. It was good.
Trying to help you out here with the film a little.
Keep trying, Dave.
But so was it difficult for you, being a beginning director and also the star of the film, to work and direct Michael Caine?
You know, I initially made my humble apologies to him and then started to abuse him, and it was okay.
Abuse him in what sense? You just actually hurt the man?
No, just direct him. You know?
Yeah.
And when you're a bad director, it's abusive, that's all.
And are you pleased with your first effort?
I like the film. I'm proud of it. I think it's a very special movie. It's certainly the best thing I've ever done, I think. We have a lot of the Native Americans and Eskimos up there that have an incredible...
They gave you that coat, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have a very incredible way of life, and these people have protected, you know, wildlife and nature for the last several thousand years without abusing it, and we need to learn from these people.
Great. And that message runs throughout the film.
Yeah.
Good for you. Stephen, it was great fun to meet you, and good luck with your directorial debut. It opens a week from tonight, is that right?
The 18th, I believe.
On Deadly Ground.
Yeah.
Pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Steven Seagal, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back. Nice one.